Hey guys, welcome to Wholesale Hotline pre-show. This is the pre-game show. A lot of people are going to be enjoying their Memorial Day holiday, but today we are still providing value for you. I am here in my brand new home, and I don't have my camera, I don't have my mic, so hopefully you guys are perfectly fine with that. To my left, or actually on your guys' right, I've got Janelle Anderson, who is a new addition to the Start Virtual team. And today we're going to go through we're going to go through two things. We're going to go through number one, what can a virtual assistant do for you? A lot of people don't realize all the things that can be done for you. We actually were thinking about writing a book called Get Your Life Back, because there's so many things virtual assistants can do for you to just completely remove the mundane, tedious work from your life and let you get your life back. So one, we're going to talk about what are all the things that a virtual assistant can do. And then two, Janelle's also going to talk about the top questions that she and the company at Start Virtual get when somebody signs on with a virtual assistant. I actually, when she told me she wanted to talk about that, I was like, yes, I absolutely love that. So Janelle, why don't you tell us your background? You said you were flipping properties back in the day before the market crashed.
That's right. So thanks for the introduction, Cody, and welcome everybody. So my background, I used to flip houses for 7 years up in Washington State. Had a few waterfall pieces of property that bordered Canada. And I think that one of the most interesting things is actually going in and learning how to tear out the flooring, install it myself, do cabinetry, siding on houses and everything like that. And I've kind of come to found after watching videos of you guys actually that wholesaling is kind of the way to go, because I don't have to get my hands too dirty. I don't actually have to do everything from start to finish myself. So that is the best idea I think that I've ever seen.
So what were you doing right before Start Virtual brought you on board?
I was working for a tech company doing sales. So I was working for a sending platform. They are also a startup out of California. And so my job was to get in contact with anybody and everybody that needed to send things to their clients in order to get their foot in the door.
Amazing. So like gifts, or what were they doing?
Yeah, so anything, if you want to be super hyper personalized, they can create take your company's logo, like let's take Start Virtual, for instance, create a box in the blue, black, and white lettering, fill it with little foam pieces that are blue, for instance, and you can stick like an empty AirPods case inside of it with a little slip that says, hey, is the virtual noise killing you right now? Book an appointment with us to get this filled with AirPods. So how many people are actually going to be like, oh my gosh, I want AirPods. Sure, I'll freaking call and get an appointment made. So it's really,
I love that.
It's an extra way to just get your foot in the door and really gain that visualization and people in the door.
I love that. Hey guys, I love the comments. Thank you so much. Jamie Lynn, good to see you all the way from Kansas City. Zachary Hamilton's like, wait, what? We're straight into it today. Yes, we are. I told Bryce Herrera, who usually runs the warm-up show, I told Bryce to take the day off. It's Memorial Day. And I decided to take Janelle's life away from her for a couple of minutes and have her give us a little bit of value for 20, 30 minutes. A couple of weeks ago, we ran an air meet where we had Robert G. Allen, prolific author, New York Times bestseller 7 times. He came in and we were talking about mindset. And in that conversation about mindset, virtual assistants came up. And so many people were saying, oh my gosh, please give me more information about virtual assistants and what that looks like. So Janelle, let's jump into it. Let's talk about what are the top things that a virtual assistant can do for me in my business, specifically to real estate.
All right, yeah. So being able to leverage this vital opportunity is really critical to the future success and growth of anyone. The top 3 things, like I said, do you have any or enough time to do really what you want, let alone to get the current workload that you have done? Do you find yourself wearing too many hats and you stretch yourself and your business thin? Not everybody has enough time in a day, especially people who are busy. It's time to kind of take your life back.
Hold on. That's a great question. So we've got nearly 100 people watching live right now.
Okay.
And a lot of these people are like some of my favorite people. Tim Sims, Eva Grace, Mims, one of my students, Jared Frankum, who's been hung out with me for an entire day. Alejandro Alvarez says he likes your hair, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Edwin, Leo, Brendan, Brenda. Oh my gosh, guys, so good to see everybody in here. So give us an answer here in the comments. Do you guys feel like you're overwhelmed in your business? And if you are overwhelmed in your business, this is what I want you to do. I want you to type yes, period. And then I want you to tell me the activity that you're overwhelmed by. Is it grocery shopping? Is it laundry, doing laundry? Is it I'm so busy with my kids? Is it I'm not pulling lists? I'm not organizing my data. I don't want to do my follow-ups. I can tell you the number one thing that people are struggling with, at least that I'm talking to, they're saying that they're having a hard time with their follow-up. They're having a hard time with their follow-up. So here we go. We got a bunch of yeses coming in. Francisco Yasso says, Pace, how are you two feeling? We feel great, bro. We feel super, super good. I'm about to have 30 people over here for a pool party and some food and hanging out right after Wholesale Hotline. Monday is normally my business partner and my day to get together, but because it's a holiday, we're all getting together with the wives and the kids. So we're going to have a lot of fun. So here we go. Tim Sim says, organization and follow-up. How did I freaking know that follow-up was going to be one of those? We've got Leo Aguirre says lead gen. I love that. Okay, so lead gen, follow-up, and Janelle, I'm so sorry. This is what happens when you go on live with me. I start derailing the whole conversation. Okay. And what's so funny is Cody will say, hey, Pace and Janelle, did you guys get together and talk about what you're going to talk about? There is no need, Cody, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so Carlos Gonzalez says, loved your live on Instagram after your mastermind. Did everybody see that we gave Anna Martinez on our team? We gave her a house during the mastermind. Did everybody see that? We gave Anna and her family a house during the mastermind. That was amazing. So Silver Young is saying, yes, getting organized and following up with leads. So getting a ton of those. Tim is saying, yes, lead generation, cold calling. Yep. I hate cold calling. Okay, here we go. I don't think
anybody loves cold calling.
Hell no. Okay, so Kyle says, yes, cold calling, follow up consistently, started interviewing with Start Virtual today. Oh, cool. I love that. So Kyle is actually coming on board and interviewing and having a conversation with Start Virtual. If I wanted to hire a VA, before we even get into the presentation, if I wanted to hire a VA from Start Virtual, Janelle, what is the process? Where do I go? Do I go to startvirtual.com? Do I go to startvirtual.com/something? What do I do?
So the link should be right below this video or in the video, right?
Let's pull it up. Hold on, you got it right here. You got it somewhere?
I have my slide deck.
I think Cody sent it to me. So let me just pull it up. Let's see. Cody was sending it to me and a couple of other people. So let's just make sure we have it all together. Okay, I got it. Awesome. I think this is the link. There we go. It's wholesalehotlinelive.com/VA. So if you guys want to book a call with Start Virtual and have this conversation. So getting a
Sorry, I didn't know that, guys. We just created that like right before we came in. So
yeah, no worries. They get it. They know how we fly by the seat of our pants. Not even a problem at all. Everybody in our audience is super chill, super cool. Everybody's just big family. So they totally get it. Okay, so Leslie says, thanks for caring and sharing. Josh says, yes, getting kids ready for school, lunches, prospecting for sure. I don't know about you guys, but when I get my kids ready for school, like even though it hinders my ability to run my business, it's where I keep all my best memories, is like that weird, even though I'm getting them ready for school, I actually get to spend a lot of quality time with them. So I would rather take prospecting, get rid of that, and then be able to focus my time and energy on some of the other busy things in my life, like, getting my kids ready for school and making lunches and all that kind of stuff. Here's another one. Ryland Reed. Ryland Reed, you must be a new follower because I've never seen your name before. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. If you're a new follower, guys, please let me know in the comments. Just say new follower, been here for 30 days, been here 60 days or whatever. Raylan says, yes, finding more sellers that like creative finance. Eva says, I'm coming from an appointment now and don't know if this is a deal. That's my dilemma. Well, Eva, you are one of the sub-2 students. You know exactly who to reach out to. You've got about 1,500 sub-2 students that can help you out with that, or your accountability leader. Oh yeah, Leslie. If you guys want to see me give a house away to Anna, go on my Instagram TV and you guys can go watch that. It was about a 45-minute video, and you'll be able to see Miles Barrio talk about the will to win, and then also us giving Anna a house. So Zachary Hamilton, hard time managing family life, work, time blocking, calling, and following up for sure. So it seems like the two main things that people are going to talk about, Janelle, are going to always be prospecting and following up. I imagine you've done a presentation about other things a virtual assistant can do for you even beyond that. Is that correct?
Yeah. So in this presentation, I'm going to show you guys 25 things a VA can do for you to help you get your life back, because I'm a mother of 2 teenagers. So yes, I do go grocery shopping. I do cook all the time. I clean, I do everything else. Plus I work, right? Like everybody else. So it is really hard to try to have, all of those hats filled as one person. So this is the reason that a VA is so good for you guys.
All right, I'm going to let you take it over. Even though I have the tendency of always wanting to talk, I'm going to let you take it over.
All right. So we're going to start this off with email management and filtering. I know that, a statistic is right now that the average inbox, this is average, so probably not even you guys probably get more than that, but is 120 emails a day. Now, if everybody was to spend time actually filtering through 120 emails a day, that would consume 10 of your hours in a day. I don't have 10 hours in a day to check email, and I know you don't either. So being able to have somebody go through your email, filter that out, and actually just keep what is important for you is also one of the most important things, I think. Setting up autoresponders through Aweber, MailChimp, or whoever your autoresponder is, so that you don't have to, write yourself out a response for anybody. Booking appointments with your clients. That's kind of an important deal, right? So nobody wants to show up to a house that nobody's going to be in. So how about they book those appointments for you? They can do follow-up with those people. Make sure, they call the day that you're going to show up or 2 hours before. You set that time. So you set the time for them to go ahead and do all this with your clients for you to free up additional time. List building, file management, database building. These are all important for you guys. Also something that consumes a ton of time. These 25 things here are detrimental to any business, doesn't matter what you run, but specific to flipping and wholesaling and everything like that, this is kind of a big deal. Transaction management. So who's arranging the inspections, doing the appraisals, coordinating the contractors? Most of the time, that's you. That's something a VA should be doing for you. That's also time consuming. How about personal errands? Now, I don't mean in person, obviously, but virtually. If they can purchase gifts for you, for any of your clients online, if you want to, send them a handwritten note, or maybe you want to send them a bottle of wine as a thank you because, you just made 25 grand on a deal and you want to thank them and possibly send a follow-up letter to get a referral. They can do that for you as well. Screening buyers and sellers, being able to qualify them for you. That is also something they can do. So we tailor every VA to your needs. So we train them on what it is specific to you and your needs. So we can teach them your scripts. We give them the tools that you are working with in order to succeed. How about creating basic reports? We'll send you daily reports on what they do for you. Weekly reports and monthly. We also hold one-on-one meetings with them. Each VA comes with a manager who has a manager to ensure that they are successful. They have to create so many meetings a week for you. So that's also another good thing. So you are getting quite a bit out of that VA. You're not just hiring one single VA. You're hiring the manager and the other manager who are ensuring this success for you guys. How about pulling comps? You guys want to waste time doing that, or do you want somebody else to do that for you? Hotel, flight, and booking. You got to go across the country. you're going on vacation, something like that, they can also do that for you guys. Creating basic reports on weekly tasks, deliverables, and sales, they can do that. Upload and manage your property listings, doing the property research for you. Set up social media accounts. Do you guys have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube? I don't even know the other social media channels. There's quite a few, but they can set all that up for you.
The number one most important one, you missed two of the most important ones.
Did I? What are those?
Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, Instagram. I'm on Instagram every day. So yeah, TikTok, I've never actually been on TikTok, but I've heard that I should get on there. Just wasn't sure about that.
It's a different demographic for sure. But the thing is, like on Instagram, speaking specifically about virtual assistants. So I have a Start virtual assistant that manages my DMs, especially when I'm traveling, or let's say that I'm speaking on stage, or I'm on Wholesale Hotline and I'm not able to look at my phone for 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. Or let's say I'm on vacation, or I'm in a mastermind, or whatever. I have somebody that makes sure that nothing goes missed. Somebody sent me a deal like 2 weeks ago and I was tied up all day long. My virtual assistant was like, this is a great deal. I'm going to tell this guy, hey, I'm Pace's virtual assistant. We want to look at this deal, but I got to wait till Pace is out of this meeting. My virtual assistant helps me get my deals and make sure that my Instagram direct messages are being replied to. So people think it's all about posting. Social media for me is all about getting deals and access to people that are doing deals as quickly as possible. So guys, for a virtual assistant to be there as almost an acquisition department, oh my gosh, like that cannot be stated strongly enough. Number 16, I like a lot. Instagram is probably where I spend most of my time on social media, followed by my Facebook groups, the Creative Finance Facebook group, and then the Sub 2 Facebook group. I have virtual assistants that say, hey, I'm Pace's virtual assistant. I want to make sure he doesn't miss this message. Can I make sure he replies back in the next 3 or 4 hours? Just making sure you don't miss messages could be worth millions of dollars over the course of your business.
Yeah, for sure. And then we have prospective tenant checks and rental applications. If you guys are turning a property into a rental, that's a great thing to be able to, liaison as well. Right. Getting between you and other team members, if you guys have a communication channel that you use and you're not available 24/7, you're in a meeting, you want to set that over to your virtual assistant, you can go ahead and do that as well. And then that's also what you just said, managing and updating social media accounts. I think that being able to be present and have that, communication going on constantly is a big deal. So you're not just stuck with a certain time frame. Like, if you hire somebody, it's 9 to 5 here. It's not the same when you hire a VA with us. We work whenever you need us to. So that's the biggest difference. We're not just
I want to talk about this for just a minute. So Tim Cork again says, how much would a cold caller cost? Everybody knows my answer to this because this is one of my hot buttons. This is one of the things that makes my lava erupt. I get people that think that hiring an American cold caller is ever a good idea. Let's all have a conversation here, guys. We got 150 people watching live, getting ready to watch Jamil, Brent, myself, and our guest for the day, Katie. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that it's a smart idea to hire a cold caller that is an American on American soil? And if you do, tell me how much you think you're going to spend, right? I already see the comments. People love they all have this hot button too. Lazy in the US. The reason why we use virtual assistants, number one, is their cost for doing this is 1/4 the cost of a typical American to do the same job. 25%. If I told you everything in your life was going to only cost you 25% of what it costs everybody else to do the same job, would you think that that's expensive? No, you'd be like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So here's the thing. Number one, American cold callers are incredibly expensive. And number two, even more important than the price, they are inconsistent beyond belief. It's a babysitting job. That's all it is a babysitting job. So if you guys know a cold caller that has been consistent over 90 days, give me that person, show me proof, and I will give them $5,000. It is impossible. There's not a single American cold caller I have ever met that is consistent every single day, 8 hours a day, cold calling. It doesn't happen. And if it does happen, the reality is it's probably the actual business owner. You're never going to hire that person. Now, I probably have had some people like the Brent Daniels of the world who do teach cold calling. He's teaching cold calling to people who are going to run their business. But when you start scaling, you got to go out and outsource to people that are half the price or 1/4 of the price. You have to. And so hopefully that answers your question. You asked a question about what have I ever tried it? Yes, I've tried it. And it was I wasn't a wholesaler or a real estate investor at that point. I was a babysitter. And that's not a fun situation, is every day you're wondering, why are my guys not on the phone? Why are my guys not calling? What the hell? They got the data. They got the stuff. They got the training. Why are we not calling? The number one thing about Americans is they are lazy. And I don't know one that's proved me wrong. So either you have to be a business owner and you're willing to cold call and sacrifice for your own business, or B, you have to hire somebody that is a virtual, who the exchange rate is different. The thing about the people in the Philippines, like with Start Virtual, even though they're 1/20, they're 1/4 the cost of an American, their exchange rate is so powerful that all of our employees are like going and buying houses and having babies and living amazing, amazing lives based on 1/4 of the cost of an American. So I'm telling you, it is a joke. It is a 75% coupon for all employees for the rest of your freaking life. You guys want a 75% off a coupon for every employee, and then you almost have a guarantee that they're going to work hard and be grateful every single time they get a paycheck? Then freaking go hire a virtual assistant. I have virtual assistants to watch my virtual assistants. I'm not joking. Like we have a media team, and I have a virtual assistant. His name is Jammy. He's been with us for over a year from Start Virtual, and Jammy makes sure, and he communicates with the VAs. I don't even have to communicate with them anymore, and things just get done. It's amazing. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. So if you guys are having a hard time scaling your business with whether it's, getting lead generation or doing follow-up, what are you doing? Why are you still dealing with that problem? Hire a virtual assistant to do that work for you. And instead of, going out and prospecting, come home from your 9 to 5 with 2 appointments to talk to a seller on the phone, sitting on your calendar, instead of you feeling like you have to go out and do those cold calls yourself. So the name of the company is Start Virtual. Okay. And the reason why we've got this company name is because somebody said, should I go virtual? And I said, you should have started virtual. You don't go virtual, you start virtual. And that's where the company name came from, startvirtual.com. Now, if you guys want a 75% off coupon for life, for hiring your team, you want a 75% off coupon compared to American employees. And then you also, here's the other coupon you get. It's called the 10X coupon. Okay, it's the 10X coupon. So you get 2 coupons when you hire a Filipino. One, you get a 75% off coupon for labor. Okay. Then the second coupon you get is the 10X coupon, which means they're going to 10X outperform the American, even with the 75% of the cost rate. It is bonkers. It does not make any sense why people would ever go a different direction. So think about that. There's a code here that you guys can talk to Janelle, wholesalehotlinelive.com/VA, which is virtual assistant. Guys, we just got rid of our last office in my acquisition business. Janelle, I know you're new over there, so maybe you don't know this, but everything is virtual in all of our businesses. COVID convinced us that we could outsource everything and we could live a better life and we could get our lives back. And a big part of that was Start Virtual. So if you guys are looking to hire a virtual assistant, you have to hire somebody from Start Virtual, there's a code. Wholesale Hotline gives you guys a discount. That is a 75% off coupon, guys. It's crazy.
Yeah. So also, you guys can kind of see these last couple real quick. Cause I know we're kind of running short on time,
Sorry,
but
I
a couple. That's okay. I just wanted to go over a few of the questions. You guys might wonder the cost between calling and the admin side, right? So there is a difference. It's only a $1 difference, and so we can also do hybrid. So if you guys just, for instance, need one VA, but you want to be able to mix in your cold calling or warm calling, whatever you want to call it, and admin, we can do that. And it's easier for you instead of hiring two, full-time VAs. A part-time VA for us is 30 hours, so we want to guarantee them a paycheck, right? We want to make sure that they're not going to leave you to go work for somebody else. So we do have a 30-hour minimum. That is one of the top questions that we get asked. So how many hours do I have to hire a VA for? That minimum is going to be 30 hours, up to 40 hours. The time frame that they work, that is totally up to you. What is the cost per hour? That's $9 an hour for calling and $10 an hour for admin. But if you do hybrid, it's 10. And also with that link that is below you, for you guys, what we're doing is we're giving $100 off of our setup fee right now. There's only a one-time setup fee. It's super low. Everybody else that I've been looking at right now has contracts. We don't have contracts in place with our VA, so you don't have to provide a large sum of money up front like everybody else is requesting right now. So that is definitely something I would take into consideration as well, because we will be probably progressing into that phase so that we can secure their roles and their paycheck for stability purposes. But for right now, yeah, we want to guarantee them a minimum of 30 hours for that stability. A lot of them ask, can I share a VA? Well, we want to ensure that you guys get quality and that the job is done right the first time. So no, we don't share VAs, because otherwise, what are they going to do? They're going to break up time with you and then somebody else, and then they're going to provide like a half crappy job. And that's just not what we do at Start Virtual. So we want to make sure that you guys get what you pay for. And, Pace was saying, I kind of, that the VAs are mostly working really hard, whatever. But you know what? In America, we all know that people slack off. They suck at their jobs. And if nobody's watching them, what are they doing? Probably not a lot. Our VAs have the managers who guarantee their success. If somebody falls below a certain KPI for you guys, or they're starting to fall off the bandwagon, well, guess what? They go into coaching. So we take care of that as well. And we will give you another VA if that happens. So we will have somebody take that place. There's not going to be any problem with that transition. So you get ahead by having the best people and assuming that the data and the tools are great, what people are behind your business. So I think that that's the biggest deal, with us, is these VAs are ambitious. They love their jobs. They actually love being on the phone. They're used to cold calling. They're used to doing the admin work. They hit their agreed upon metrics. It's a people business. And that's why you would want a virtual assistant.
Let me answer a couple questions before we get you out, because I got 2 minutes with you. Jeremy Davis, one of my students, great guy. Pace, how long did it take you to mentally release your day-to-day responsibilities and put them on a VA? Jeremy, I do it every week. Today, Monday, every single Monday, I have a partnership meeting with Matt, Cody, and other partners in my businesses. And my goal when I leave that meeting is I'm going to choose upwards of 5 items every single week that I never want to do again. And I look back at the previous week and I go, what's the one thing Pace did that he should not have done? And we then, as a team, give that to a virtual assistant. Now, sometimes those things are like, really, do we want to give that to a virtual assistant? And I just got the confidence that, man alive, they are so much better at so many things than I ever was. So after seeing the proof in the pudding, I relinquish as much as possible. Sometimes I'm like driving in my truck. Yesterday was Saturday. Sunday. I was driving in my truck and I go, man, I got a lot of free time. This is crazy. Maybe I should do some more stuff. And I was like, no, that's exactly why I got virtual assistants, is to live what I'm doing right now. And I think a lot of people in this live are probably addicted to doing a lot of the work in your business and being a captive in your own business. So, Jeremy, I would choose one thing a month or one thing every other week to start out and say, I refuse to do this task ever again. I refuse. And if you could do that one time a week, that would be 52 tasks by the end of the year that you would never have to do. Now, I'm 38. I know that I'm young for some people, old for others. I'm in my like prime. I finally relinquished laundry in my life. I am no longer doing laundry. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to iron my clothes anymore. I've been doing it for free since I was 6. I'm now in a point where in my life where I literally am like one thing per week I'm removing from my plate or saying I'm never going to do again. Okay. So start out with just one thing. What do you refuse? Where's the line in the sand you refuse to not do those activities? Janelle, it's 5 o'clock. I got to start Wholesale Hotline. You are awesome. Yep. And everybody that wants to go start up with a Start Virtual, wholesalehotlinelive.com/VA. Janelle, it was good to see you. Later.
You too.
All right, guys, that was good. Sorry about that. I gave Bryce the day off. And as you guys can see, this is not my new setup. This is on my laptop. I'm like in the midst of moving. I'll probably be moving for another couple of weeks. I'm very professional. I got a Panera bag right here. I've got some poster right here. I've got my mastermind thing. I've got Jerry Norton's books up in my shelf. Somebody call Jerry and tell him to get his damn books out of my library. This is bullshit. Somebody call Jerry right now. All right, guys, so good to see everybody in here. I am so pumped. We've got a great guest. Give us 30 seconds. I will be right back, and we're going to start. We're going to have Brent Daniels introduce this guest, as he always should, but this guest is a TTP alumni, much like myself. And this guest, actually, I think we did 10 deals with her. My team did 10 deals with her this week. So Brent Daniels is going to introduce this girl, and we're going to have a really, really good wholesale hotline. See you guys in about 20 seconds.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
This nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it is the home of the brave. Happy Memorial Day 2021. Memorial Day started back in 1865. It is definitely worth the Google to see the origin of that. It is absolutely incredible, and I want to thank everybody that has taken some time today and really remembered how wonderful this country is and the incredible sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice that some have made for our country. And so happy Memorial Day, everybody. It is exciting to be here. It is Wholesale Hotline number 67. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP. I talk a lot about lead generation. We've got Pace Morby. He is talking about conversion, and Jamil Damji talks everything when it comes to dispositions and exit strategy. But today we have a fourth host, which I am absolutely thrilled about. I am telling you, the ladies are taking over Wholesale Hotline. This is week 2 with an incredible professional wholesaler that lives currently in Nebraska, doing business here in Phoenix, Arizona. And just to let you guys know real quick, Pace, can you zoom in on me real quick with the little dealy do there?
I would be so happy to do that, bro.
Hold on. This is somebody just texted me, so it booted me here. But if you look at the text between Katie Fisher and I here, all right, Katie Fisher and I, Katie came into my office with Jack, her then boyfriend, now fiance, congratulations,
Thanks.
and a couple other family members getting excited about real estate. And they came up to my office, and Katie was on fire. She was like, I know I can do this. I've been in the car business. I'm excited to talk to people. Just let me loose. Just point me in the right direction, and I'm going to go absolutely bananas. But this is something that I want to show everybody, and this is something that is absolutely, I think, critical. In the first week, these are texts that I got in the first week from Katie starting the program. She was absolutely on fire. It won't even go back that far how many texts. The first week, the first month, I counted 113 texts between Katie and I, and that is somebody taking action. That is somebody that has courage. That is somebody that is absolutely, without a doubt, not fearful of going out there and making mistakes and picking up little pieces here and there that lead to her experience. And last week, listen to this. This is 2 years ago, she started TTP. Last week, she closed 12 deals, both wholesale and creative finance. Katie, I am so happy to have you on here. What an incredible journey the last 2 years have been. 80 deals done. I mean, say hello to everybody on the Wholesale Hotline.
Hi, everybody. It's been crazy, and I definitely couldn't have done it without half the guys on the screen. So I've learned everything from all the 3 of these people. I've done flips and seller carries, and I wouldn't have as many deals if I would now without flipping, wholesaling, and creative financing. That's for sure.
And Pace, how many deals have you done with her?
I'd say last week we got just alone 9 seller carries. So I don't know. I could say maybe we've done near 20 now, just seller carries.
Incredible. Pace, what has been your experience?
My experience, how did I meet her? First and foremost, I met her at your office. She was coming in to do your podcast. And I was like, just like everybody I meet in that office, I'm like, if Brent thinks they're dope, then I got to know them. So it's the same thing with Bobby Two Hands, our videographer and good friend of ours. He was, he came through your office one day and I was like, who are you? If you're friends with Brent, I got to know you. Same thing with Katie. Katie was coming through with Jack and I go, who are you guys? You guys are homies with Brent Daniels? Brent Daniels is like one of my 3 idols, man. And we became friends. She came down to our office. Cody and I gave her a list. 13,000 person list, a mobile home list in Mesa, Arizona. And the next day she's like, I got an appointment. And her and I went on that appointment. We locked up the deal. We ended up assigning that one, but she's done her first fix and flips. I think we've got 1 or 2 fix and flips either in the pipe or 1 or 2 more coming up. I don't know what's going on.
We've got 1 locked up and then 1 more coming. And I think we've done like 3 or 4 already.
How much did you make on your first fix and flip with us? I can't remember.
$34,000.
$34,000. That was a split, by the way. We made $70,000 total. She found it. We funded it. We ran the construction. My wife listed the property and we split the profits. And it's so funny. Here's my experience to sum this up with Katie. I offer that to everybody in town. Everybody in town.
The only one that does too.
Right. I offer that to everyone in town. And that is like, people go, I don't have money. I don't have this. I don't have experience in fix and flip. I go, here's a list. I'll give people a list. And I've probably done this maybe 10 times. I've fix and flip properties with 10 people. Katie's the only person that's gone past 2. And she's really only one of 10 people that's actually ever done it. And she's the first person that's going to be, that'll go probably past 5 with us ever. Okay. Then she is fearless. Her follow-up is insane.
Insane.
I swear to you that she's not even a human. I think she's a robot.
I was watching your last video and you kind of hit it on the nail on the head. I was like, I mean, giving away my leads, I'm terrified. I hired VAs and they did things, but I'm so scared to trust other people with my leads, and that's where I struggle, I think.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up with Katie. I wanted to, I knew we'd have some good, transparent conversations today about where she's struggling within her business. Katie's done a lot of deals, right? Like she did, you did 9 last week, plus the one we just locked up yesterday. So that's 10 seller carries in 1 week.
And then we got a land deal. Cody knows about that one. And then we got another mobile home that's just a wholesale.
So are we doing all 13 of those deals with you?
All 12, yes. 9
Damn.
were seller carries, and then the rest were wholesales.
I might just let go of all my whole team and just hire 2 more Katies, and I'll be set for life. Holy moly. Yeah. So
it was the best week ever. I can't say that's an every week thing.
Right. But that's why the one thing I know about you, Katie, this is another experience with you, is that you're consistent. It doesn't mean that every single week you're doing 14 deals or 10 deals or 5 deals or whatever. It's every week you have something for us to look at. Every week you're on the phone with a seller. Every week you're setting an appointment for me or somebody else on our team. And you're in Nebraska. So think about that. I want to set the tone for some of these conversations we're going to have. You're in Nebraska virtually wholesaling in. Jamil, would you say that Arizona is like top 3 most competitive markets?
I think it's the top.
I think so too.
I think it's the hardest market.
Crazy.
So you're virtually wholesaling into Phoenix, Arizona, because you're leveraging other relationships and you're just staying on top of it. I think we got to get into the magic secret dust that Katie has, that you just have to be a TTP student. Here's one thing I've experienced about TTP students is that I basically buy deals from 2 people. You either are an Astro student or you're a TTP student. That's basically all I buy deals from, or obviously my students, right? So I don't know if that's just my influence only reaches to those subsets of groups, but holy crap, like the follow-up systems and the success rate that you guys all have as students is unparalleled. It's amazing.
Well, we attract super proactive people. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to get into it and just hope that it's going to be done for them. You got to go out there and really do the work. And I think it's really interesting. And it's something that I wanted to talk to Jamil about and just kind of open up this show with how often are you seeing nationwide, Phoenix, whatever, people bringing creative deals, seller finance deals, sub-2 deals to Keighley? And what does that look like? What is the difference on kind of average wholesale fees? Because you can wholesale those. I mean, this is Wholesale Hotline, baby. You can wholesale sub-2s. You can wholesale creative financing. You can wholesale all sorts. I mean, notes. You can wholesale all sorts of different things. So how are you seeing that come across? Is it more or less? Is it not a non, am I just spinning my wheels with this conversation?
No, not at all. In fact, I think what we've seen more of, though, Brent, is people come, they bring an opportunity. They want to have other eyes on it. They want another opinion on, is this a creative deal? Does this pencil? Does this make sense? But very few people, if they do get their hands on a creative deal, wholesale them. They keep them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense to take your $10,000. I mean, look, Katie's in Nebraska, right? She doesn't want to hold on to 9 seller carries in Arizona. I get it. I get that, right? There's management. There's all kinds of infrastructure that she probably doesn't care to put in place. She's happy to take her 5, 10,000, whatever she's getting as an assignment fee or more. I don't know what the structures are, but she's probably happy to take those fees and move on to more lead generation for wholesales and fix and flips. And that's her model, and that makes sense for her business. And I think that's amazing.
Well, what she's done with a lot of her fees is she'll take a portion of those seller carries for herself. So she actually owns seller carries from our relationships, is that she'll make her fees on the houses she sells to me, takes that money and goes and keeps properties herself. And now she's cash flowing on a handful of houses also.
And
I don't want to use too much of my wholesaling money and things like that. We like to keep that to the side. So I find other places to get the money for the seller carries. And buy like a third of what Pace buys.
That makes all the sense, right? Like
Yeah.
that's her just leveraging the and I love what she said. She keeps her wholesale money for one thing, and then she has to find other money for her seller carries so that they can add them to the portfolio. So she's actually forcing herself into another form of action, because she knows, hey, I want to take these down, so I got to go and find the money. And how am I going to find the money? I'm going to hustle my ass off. I'm going to go sell Pace 9 seller carries, and that's where I'm going to get my down payment for the other 3 I'm going to keep. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But I've been seeing that more and more and more, Brent. I think as the market has heated up the way that it has, getting into property is one of the most difficult things right now that we can do. Right? It's very difficult to find deals. No, I mean, guys, I didn't say that. Okay. It's not difficult to find deals. Deals are there, but there's less and less inventory, right? So we're working a little harder for deals. So there's that. But also, you require so much cash to do those transactions a lot of times, right? If you're not going to assign, you're going to fix and flip, you need access to liquidity. I think the way that Katie's handling it is the smartest I've seen. You keep as many seller carries as you can, and you wholesale a few out and build your portfolio.
You want to hear something kind of cool about these last 9? So Katie's been working with this lady for a year, and we've bought a lot of homes from her. She still has another, I think, 20 beyond this that we still have access to, which is great. But somebody advised her, stop selling these houses because the market's going to go like crazy. So Katie's like, sorry guys, we're going to have to hold off for a couple of weeks. Don't worry, I'll get back in her good graces. She's got somebody chirping in her ear saying, hold out, hold out, hold out. So I go, Katie, tell the seller I will pay Zillow price plus $20,000 for these houses. And that's what got the deal done. So there's a question in the comments right here. Okay, Joshua Kim says, how do you make a profit on sub 2s when you're paying to buy a property? Now, here's something that's very interesting. I want to show you guys a little screen share that I think you guys will get some value out of. By the way, Katie, how'd you like that conversation I had with the seller about beer?
That was great. And the best part is I thought, like, when I first found this person that we've been buying all these seller carries from, I thought that would be like the one and only. I never thought I'd find anybody else to like do the seller carry option. And then I've gotten like 4 people outside of her. So that's the best part of it.
Yes. So check this out. So this is my Airbnb manager. His name's Noah Hoffman. You guys can see all these bookings that we have. Check this one out right here. So let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Sorry, it kicked me down. Right here. So 14,900 collected for the Dallas house in May. Expenses were $5,000. $9,448 is deposited to you. So Joshua Kim, this was literally 5 hours ago that I got this text message. Okay. I paid $50,000 over retail for this property. $50,000 over retail for this property. My exit strategy is pretty obvious. It's an Airbnb, but I'm making $100,000 net per year on one house that I paid $50,000 over value on. Now, here's the other interesting thing about it is that I understand the market is crazy right now. So I'm not going to count my chickens right now, but I have also, since I bought that house in December, I've also made $75,000 in equity. So I'm no longer underwater. I actually have $25,000 in equity, and I've made $60,000 in the last 6 months. So does that answer your question on how you make money on properties with little equity? I actually paid $50,000 over what they were worth. Now, the deals Katie just locked up with this seller, she's locked up a lot of deals with this seller because Katie has a killer relationship with the seller, and her follow-up game is insane. She continually is told no by the seller's son 3 times a week.
Yeah, literally.
Like I see the text messages, and Katie's like, okay, just got to flirt with them or say something nice to them or whatever it is. And I got to just keep going. And she just, every couple of weeks, she'll get more houses from this seller and other sellers. So these 9 houses, I think the contract actually states Zillow price plus 20,000, does it not?
Yeah, the funny part is when I sent them to title, she's got like a good relationship with title. She's had like 50 houses, so they know her. And they said, you don't even need to sign the contract, just tell us you're ready to go. So I called title and I was like, hey, she's ready to go. And she's like, well, why are you at such a low interest rate? Like all these other people that she's ever sold to, she's at like a 5% rate. I said, well, I earned it. I've been dealing with her for like over a year now, and we've created a relationship. So she's willing to give us a better rate now. And all these other people, one guy bought a house from her, and then it was supposed to be like her holding it, and then he turned around and sold it. So she's like lost trust in everybody else. So it's kind of good for me.
So for everybody that's wholesaling, I want to be really clear. I've bought these types of deals from Brent Daniels as well. And actually one of my first wraps that I ever did was purchased from Jamil. He wholesaled it to me. And I paid over retail at the time. That house right now, Jamil, is getting refinanced, and I'm getting a check for like $60,000 plus all the cash flow I made all those years. But the thing is, Katie is the only wholesaler that is even speaking to this seller that stands a chance. She's paying 20 grand over retail while every other wholesaler is trying to pay 60 cents on the dollar. It is crazy. And then Katie gets to keep some of these houses. She gets the depreciation. She's getting the cash flow. She's getting you guys are watching this inflation bubble go crazy. Like, look at Katie with her properties. Just you'll make as much money this year, Katie, on your handful of rentals as you will with all your earned income. Just all your sleeping, your money that's being made while you're sleeping. You'll make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 this year easy on your holds, just sitting on them.
Yeah, one that we bought 6 months ago, we bought it for like, I say 370. And at that point, I looked at Jack and I was like, are you sure? Like, I feel like we're buying this at a high price. I was iffy about it. Our payment was like $1,600. And I don't know, I was scared it wasn't going to cash flow enough. And we ended up renting the thing out for $2,700. And now the value is like $450. So that's just in 6 months.
Well, here's the thing is I think we jumped the gun because we were excited about this big week you just had, but I think we got to get Brent to interview you back from the very beginning again, because we've got some really good questions here. Like Lawrence Swartz says, how many cold callers are on your team right now? And Katie's going to laugh about that because she has
just me.
Just her, guys. It's just her. Okay. She is a control freak, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But Brent, why don't you interview her? Let's figure out her backstory. Actually, Katie, I don't know what you were doing before. I don't know how you got into wholesale. We just became friends. We started doing deals together. So let's let Brent and you have a conversation.
And before I get into that, this is a shining example. And I've said this probably 1,000 million times, probably a gazillion times, that if you make the calls yourself, you are going to be 5 times as good as any American caller calling for you and 20 times as good as any second language foreign caller making calls for you. You just are. You're going to know which properties are getting close. You have the most to gain. And if you just stay in the saddle, you can build up something incredible. A lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people have maybe constricted schedules, or they want to scale really fast, which is fine. It's different for everybody, but if you want to have massive success, you stay in the saddle as long as you can, and as long as you're having fun with it, which is what Katie is doing. Yep. And this is a perfect example of that. So Katie came in to TTP from a dealership, a car dealership in Gilbert, Arizona, where I grew up, right? So you were doing the car dealership thing. Were you on sales? Were you and Jack both sales?
Yeah, we were both working sales, and I mean, we were working like 50, sometimes 60 hours a week. It was crazy. You'd be selling cars till 11 o'clock at night. Like, whoever thought you'd be doing that? So I literally thought I was going to sell cars for the rest of my life. I tried to quit there and I went and got my dental assisting license. I hated that. They were all jerks. I hated working for somebody. And I literally just sat at home thinking, like, what can I do? What can I do? And finally, Jack sold a car to a guy, and he was asking if we knew all these people, and we had no idea who they were. But then we finally started looking it up, and it was wholesaling that he was talking about, but just in a terrible way. He couldn't describe it. So that's when we found Brent. And literally 2 years ago on June 18th is when we met. So I went in and literally was just like, what do I have to do? I know I can make calls. I think even the first time we met, he was like, well, if you're so serious, then pick up your phone and call this guy. So I did. I picked up the phone. I called the guy. He didn't answer. But literally, like when we first started, I'll say I knew it had to work. I was like, we have no option. I don't want to go back to work. Jack was just selling cars at that point. So that was our only income, and it was getting low. So like 2 people living off one income is not the best, obviously. And at that point, we were so low on money that I couldn't afford to have the Mojo dialer. So I just hand dialed all my lists. I hand dialed like 1,500 people, just every number off of my phone. And finally, I got a mobile home deal, which made me love mobile homes forever. But I think our first deal, like we made like $17K just making 1,500 calls, and I had to annoy people. That's literally the way I get my deals. Like I had a lady call me today and she's like, hey, you called me a long time. I need help on landscaping. And if you help me get a landscaper, I'll sell you my mobile home. Like I called this lady like 1.5 years ago, and she's calling me back now because I've annoyed her so much. And I've stuck my name in her head, and she knows who I am just sitting there thinking about if she wants to sell her house. That's the way I do it. And I literally just stuck to it and made calls, and it worked. And the follow-up
you say annoying. I think that you're just planting seeds and building a relationship. And what Jamil talks about all the time is reps, right? The reps of hearing somebody's voice, the reps of seeing somebody, the reps of that type of thing. That's going to give you an advantage like nobody else has. Absolutely. And I remember, do you remember the first deal you locked up and the dude backed out or canceled or whatever because he said he was drunk when he signed the contract?
Yeah, our first deal, Jack and I went to in person, and this was going to be a flip. Obviously not a flip for us, but a wholesale flip for somebody else. And I knew it was a good deal. Like I knew it was a great price. We went down, talked to the guy, and he was not drunk, obviously, but I called him back like every day, like, hey, title can't get a hold of you. Title can't hear from you. And like, nobody can reach you. So long story short, I get this big envelope that shows up at my door and says that I was being sued for him being drunk when he signed the contract. And I freaked out. Of course, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just started doing this. I knew nothing about the business. So long story short, we hired a lawyer, and our profits went from like 30K to 18K. So not bad, but my first deal, it scared me. I'm like, what am I doing? Is this right? Like, do I back
I like that on the first deal. I like having to go through an attorney. Don't you? It's like, if you haven't had an attorney involved in a deal, you haven't been in this business long enough. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Oh yeah.
And what's funny is Jamil's first deal had an attorney involved named David Steed.
I'll remember his name was Cordero, and it was a scary name. I'm like, he's got it, and he had it. So it was cool.
Awesome. And Jamil, this is like, I mean, Katie, same like origin story, right? Just going around, finding ugly houses, calling them. Same as you. You know what I mean? Just building it up. Go, hand dial. And it just took off. And then, I started getting all of these, pictures of different properties and everything. And it was boom, 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 boom. And it was right. I mean, this is Phoenix 2 years ago. I mean, I don't care if you think it's more competitive now. It was still, you're still fist fighting out there. And she was and Katie was sending me properties every single day because she was having conversations. She wouldn't stop. She wouldn't be stopped. She'd call and call and call. I get texted 8:30 in the morning. I get texted 8:30 at night. I'd be texted like, is this guy real? What should I do? Blah, blah. And then the momentum just started to take off. And it was just because she was talking to people. She was having those quality conversations, and she was relentless with it. She says it's annoying, but that's what we do. We interrupt people's day to see if they would consider an offer on their properties. And if you do that enough times, you're going to win. And it's
awesome when you find the people that actually, they're like, you saved me. You helped me. I needed to sell my property. Like this one lady we're buying all the houses from, she wouldn't find anybody else that's, deals with the way we do, or, like she could get screwed over easily, taken advantage of, and she's grateful for us. So it's another good feeling about it.
So when you were starting out, give everybody kind of your schedule. You know what I mean? And then kind of where you're at 2 years later.
So when I started out, like I said, I didn't even have Mojo Dialer just because of the cost. So I would hand dial every day. I'd say, I mean, if you're hand dialing, you can only get through like maybe 300 people. It took a lot of time. You'd get a lot of wrong numbers. I was looking up the numbers myself, not even paying for skip tracing at this point. I was using like some fast people thing on the internet. Like, it was crazy. So I got their numbers, and at first I was probably making 300 calls a day, you know, I don't know, trying to do 1,000 a week, just hand dialing. And then eventually we got the triple line dialer. And I mean, some days I can sit there and I'll make 20 calls. And like the other day, my third call I made, she's like, yeah, I want to sell. I made the deal in like 10 minutes. So like everything's changed so far from then, just because of how I know how to talk to people now and sound like I'm a legit buyer and not just somebody trying to buy their deal and sell it. I think that's the biggest part, is people know what we're trying to do now, and you know what other people are trying to do, and they don't want to get taken advantage of. They want to sell to somebody that they trust, and I think that's probably the biggest part.
Katie,
now,
do you have some advice for people that are brand new to the audience? Like, if you could go back to yourself when you first started and say, here's a couple of differences in the way that I speak. Is it just confidence? Is it just experience? Or is there maybe a different script or a different avenue you can go down besides?
I will give out my biggest secret here that has worked for me recently.
What do you tell people? You know Brent Daniels?
No. I start my phone calls, all of them I start by, hey, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm sure I'm not the first, you know. I'm sure you get thousands of calls, but I just wanted to see if you'd be interested in selling your place. And again, I'm sorry to bother you. Most people are like, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you're like the 10th person today, but you know, what would you offer me? And I think that's another thing, is knowing kind of what to say when somebody says, what are you going to offer me? Because that's like the number one thing I get is just, well, what's your offer? And now pretty much I go back and I'm like, well, I need to know the condition of the property. You know, have you remodeled it recently? Do you have a price in mind? And getting a price out of them is like the number one thing. If you can get a price out of them, you like know if you're wasting your time or not.
How often do you have to throw out a price at them, Katie?
A good portion of the time. I feel like most people, right, and especially in today's market, they want a number right away. Like, they're not stupid. They want the money right now too. That's another benefit I feel like right now, is people think the market's hot. They think it's going to crash again. And if you can offer them, you know, 20K more than their house is worth on a seller carry, like, they're like, holy cow, I'm never going to get that again. Or, you know, the value's just gone up, that they love it. So.
And by the way, in case anybody missed that, 300 calls a day, hand dialing. All right. There are people on here that are afraid to make 3 calls a day, hand dialing. Okay.
The biggest thing I thought is they're never going to see you unless you make the deal. And if you get that far to make the deal, then you're great. You have nothing to worry about. Bring somebody with if you need somebody to help you out, like Pace or you, Brent. I'm sure you can find people to come with you. So.
So let me ask this. When you say hand dialing, you're being like literal, you're punching in the number on your phone?
Literally, like we would just get lists. I had deal machine. So I'd go around, I'd find like vacant properties or absentee owners or high equity owners, whatever it was. I'd type in the address on the internet and search for their phone number. And then I'd hand dial the phone number. So I didn't have a dialer, like a system, nothing. It was super old school.
Not even skip tracing with batch.
No, I couldn't afford it. I was like, I got to save all the money. If we run out of money, we're screwed.
This is true people search, driving around and calling right there. Boom, 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 boom. And then just go. And now 80 deals later, 2 years later, she's doing deals with the top creative finance guy in the world and rock and roll, just warming up.
More than half the numbers were always wrong too.
Oh, of course. Yep. I love it. I mean, this is what I love. I love that, you know, getting in the dirt, right? Just really just pushing it and keeping the budget low and not being afraid and just going for it, because you essentially said, you know what? I can't be in the car business forever. I know that there is something inside. There was that fire inside you. I could see it. I could see it in your eyes. You had that sparkle, and you're like, you know what? I am going to do whatever it takes to make this happen.
Car business is terrible.
Yeah. I mean, how often do you see that, Jamil?
See what?
That fire in their belly, that sparkle in the eye, the unrelenting, I will make sure that I get this done.
everyone has it.
Yep.
But most people have let just life glaze over it.
People need to stop being so scared, I think. Like, I have a lot of people that come to me and I'm willing to teach. Like, you can have access to my leads and I'll teach you as well. But my problem is I'm sick of wasting my time because nobody wants to take action and actually make the calls. And if they make 300 calls and they don't get a deal, they're done. And that's why I've given up. So, I mean, like, I'm at the point where I don't want to help people that aren't motivated to help themselves, because this seriously changes people's lives and it's right in front of you. And if you don't need the money to do it, in my opinion, you can hand dial like I did, get your first deal. And my first deal, guess what I did? Bought Mojo, bought everything that I needed, bought a huge list, and probably made like 10 more deals just from that list. So,
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Because I've had the least amount of interaction with Katie on this screen, right? Would you guys? That's fair to say.
Yep.
Katie, I've met you in person, I think like 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
But every time I felt a very, very, very high level of energy from you, and you didn't even say a lot. And I mean, like, you radiate. It's true. Like, you're like, almost, you buzz, right? And so I just want to ask you, as a child, did you have high levels of energy? Are you normally a very, just like mentally active and forward progressing person, or is this new? Is this aspect of you something that you've cultivated and grown?
I definitely would say it's probably something new. I mean, I knew I didn't want to work for somebody my whole life, but I think that's what motivated me the most. When I got my first deal and the taste of, working for yourself, I just knew I couldn't do anything else. So, I mean, also probably, nobody else in my family besides like my dad's ever started a business. So I think just seeing everybody work for somebody their whole life, I was like, I can't do that. I can't be miserable. Like, most people that work for other people are miserable. Like, they hate it. They hate their life and they hate their 9 to 5. And I could never go back to a 9 to 5. I seriously think I would die. Like, so I really think just getting my first deal taught me that, you can literally do anything. You just have to try. And that's when I was like, if you can just make calls all day, why would you not just make calls? Like, not literally, but like, get your business started, make calls, and it literally will change your life. So like, it made me more motivated for sure after seeing like the possibilities and what you could do. So I don't think I was like this forever, but after my first deal, it definitely hyped it up a little bit.
There's only 2 things I would do in my life: either A, be an entrepreneur, or B, work for Keegley. That's it. That's all I would ever do. I get to be in Keegley's office frequently, and it's like, it's almost like you walked past the pearly gates and you're like in heaven itself. It's a pretty good job to have. But one thing to talk about Jamil's energy conversation and what you radiate, I want to talk about something just real quick and make a comment, because Jamil has another question. She doesn't hesitate. If you give Katie a list, I'm not joking you. I remember meeting her at a really weird property. There was like somebody living in the backyard. You and Jack all met at the property. You probably don't remember this.
I think you're talking about Foothills.
Yeah, it was over in Apache Junction.
Yep.
So we meet at the house, and then
she remembers.
I have like a mental book in my head.
So we go to this house. We have the conversation with the lady. We were in that house, whatever. And then Cody was sharing a new list with you at that time. And it was like, he gave you the list, and before you even got home from that appointment, you were already like setting up new appointments off that list from your freaking phone. Here's the difference. What other people will do is they'll get the opportunity, they'll get a list, they'll get whatever, and then they want to go obtain more information before they make even one more call. And that's one thing I admire about Katie, is that she just goes and takes action immediately. There is no hesitation. She doesn't even wait to get home, guys.
I think it's a waste of time. I don't think you need to know anything about them until they're willing to sell their house. If they're not willing to sell, don't waste your time. Like, that's how I feel. Like, if they don't say, yeah, sure, what are you going to offer me? I'm on to the next. Like, they'll if you want to make an impression and, waste your, like, I don't know. I don't grind to people that hard anymore. If somebody wants to sell and you ask them, they'll tell you they're willing to sell.
Yeah, you got to pre-qualify them. You got to make sure that these are people that would consider doing business with you. I see a lot of people, and I understand it. When you're first starting out, you get excited. You see a property that's been vacant for a while. You think it's the perfect one, and you start doing the research, and you start seeing who owns it, and you're thinking about, should I comp it first? Yeah, I'll comp it so I get a value before I go out and do that. Stop it. Stop until you know that you have a shot at them doing business with you. Don't do the research. Just find a property that needs some love, have a conversation with the owner and see if they would consider an offer. You do that and you're going to win. You're going to keep winning. And then from there, you can start getting into next level stuff of understanding the value of it, understanding rehab costs, understanding all these things, building up your cash buyer database. But it starts with the seed of finding somebody that would potentially do business with you. And that's what Katie does.
I've made a lot of deals where people are like, no, I don't want to sell. And then I hit them with the creative financing. Well, what if I could give you over market value? And that's how I bought one of my condos that I'm cash flowing on right now. The guy had no interest in selling. And he was like, I'm just going to let it sit vacant until I rent it again. And I was like, well, why don't you start making money now? And he sold it to us. So that's another thing is I've been chasing vacant houses for the past 2 years. And guess what? They're still sitting there vacant. Some people just don't want to sell and they'll never want to sell. So I don't stay hung up on leads and just move to the next and find somebody that is willing to sell, whether it's creative financing, wholesale, or whatever.
Katie, how much money did you make last month?
Last month, I mean, I don't know, but I'd say probably 15K, but next month's probably going to be one of my biggest months ever.
What do you project? What do you project for next month?
Easily, I could probably have 100K month next month.
Yep.
What's your biggest so far?
Biggest month? It's probably 50.
Amazing.
That's
How many
month that Pace and I had a flip, and then I had another land wholesale on top of that. So again, it was a good month.
How many cold callers do you employ?
Just one.
Okay, you guys.
The real answer is zero.
Yes,
zero. Yeah, I employ myself.
Zero. The answer is zero. Okay. She has $50,000 a month. She's gonna have $100,000 a month next month. Her average is a $15,000 a month. Guys, she's balling. She's doing amazing. She is entitled to the work. She's doing the work. She's got the greatness, not the ease. Everybody has got it twisted. You guys make 10 grand, you want to hire 10 people.
I don't trust anybody else to follow up the way I do. That's my issue right now.
No, I mean, Katie, no one will ever look. Here's the thing. There are people like you out there, and you'll find them. Your energy will yank them out of their world into yours.
Yep.
It happens. So don't worry about that. And when it's time for you to scale the way that you've got your action and your activity and just the way that you're focused, there's no chance that that's not going to be your reality.
Yep.
What's amazing, and I know this even being in the business myself, I still do deals. I'm still doing 6, 7 deals, 8 deals myself.
It's fun. I like it.
Yes, in that company, right? And so that's the thing. No one will ever do it because you love the game. You love this chase. You love it so much. Guys, model this.
It was like selling a car for me. If I sold a car, whether it was $100 deal, I was like, oh, this is great. I made a deal. It's just about making a deal and the adrenaline you get. And I love making deals. It's my favorite thing. It makes my week when I make a deal.
Well, not only that, Jamil, I mean, you're hitting it right on the head. You keep the income you make, right? That's where you're really going with this is if you keep your expenses down, you keep the income you make, and guess what you're going to do? Oh, you're going to buy rental properties with that income.
Yeah, and you're going to be the richest person in Nebraska.
You're going to get 3 out of the 12 that you just locked up. You're going to have it for yourself. How many properties do you have now, Katie?
Right now we have 3. And I mean, between those 3 properties, we're cash flowing close to probably $2,500, almost $3,000. And if I turned it into an Airbnb, it'd be even more insane. So we're thinking about taking one of them and, making it an Airbnb like Pace is doing to generate more cash flow. And there's just so many things you can do with it. It's awesome.
So instead of going out and getting a big office space and hiring a bunch of people, she's investing into some assets here and building a portfolio and following, the lead. She's got the ear of Pace because she sold so many deals to him. So anything that she needs, she has. I mean, this is squatting up at its like best example. Right?
She gets access. My wife sold her house. She gets access to my CPA. Whatever Katie needs, what do you think she gets?
Everything.
Everything. Yeah, literally. I will say Pace's team has helped me get this far for sure, but it makes sense for them and it makes sense for me because I'm sitting here getting all these deals and I should hire somebody. I can't handle it, but I'm close with Pace and I'm close with his team and we've worked out enough stuff that it makes sense for me to keep doing it this way for now. And I don't know, I only came out here to Nebraska to venture out into the world out here. I knew I had the market there figured out. I wasn't going to give up and I never stopped making calls and making deals out there. But coming out here, I learned more stuff. I done different types of deals out here and then going back, it'll help me because I know different things that I can do and different ways to talk to people just by coming out here. So
I've got a question about that, Katie.
Yes.
So we've all been friends for a couple of years and we all follow each other's Instagram. I see your Instagram, I don't know what, maybe 8 months ago, all of a sudden you're in Ohio. You're sending me a text and you're like, dude, I'm telling you, it's like killing, shooting fish in a barrel out here. I make half a phone call and I get a deal.
Yeah.
What's been your experience outside of the Arizona market?
So I don't know. I know everybody says that the Arizona market's the hardest market, but there's a reason I'm coming back. I'll just say that.
I want to know about that. Tell me why.
It's a lot easier to get a deal out here, yes, but your profits aren't as big because the purchase price of the house is, it's a lower purchase price, but you can only go so high and the market's not as hot here. And, the rent rates aren't as great. So seller carries don't make as much sense.
What about buyers? Are there a lot? Jamil, do you notice in some of these smaller tertiary markets, there's less buyers and less activity? It's more challenging to dispo a deal.
It's changing.
And the buyers are shady. I'll say that. I've had a deal. I had a deal in escrow for 3 weeks. The guy never put his EMD in and title didn't do anything about it. So I feel like it's a different world and people don't know as much out here about wholesaling and things like that. Yeah, that upset me because I sat on a property for 3 weeks and now I got to go resell it. People don't back out in Arizona. People want those properties and they're hot and they go super fast. So it's a lot easier to sell a deal there.
That's an interesting thing, because we have internally in Arizona, we all have about 15 people that are on the blacklist. And we what's funny is none of us have shared or created this blacklist together. These 15 people just magically find themselves on everybody's blacklist. And then when we're at a party, we're like, oh, that guy's on your blacklist too. He's on mine. Oh my gosh. It's such a tight-knit community. It's a bigger community, but it's a tight-knit community. Word travels fast in Phoenix, who's good, who's not good, and who to watch out for. And I think it keeps a lot of people honest. I have noticed Keegley does a really, really good job of, setting the tone in our market. It's kind of interesting. I think they do the same thing in these other markets. Jamil, when you say that it's changing in those smaller markets, what do you mean by that?
So we look at the trends of where institutional money is headed, where it's been, where it's headed, and how many dollars are being deployed month after month over month over month, right? The way that I'm viewing this is just based off the data. And the data is showing us that they're pulling back in markets that are like Arizona, California. They're pulling back the amount of dollars they're deploying, and they're actually increasing the dollars that they're deploying in those smaller markets, like Lincoln, Nebraska, or like Columbus, Ohio, or these little markets that we didn't pay attention to before are becoming where affordable housing exists now.
That is so true too, though.
And the problem that we're here's the thing. I'm giving you 2-year thinking right now from what we're trending based off of what we're seeing on dollars spent. The markets that are super red hot, they're just getting pricier and pricier and pricier, and inflation is increasing, and that's all going where it's going. Interest rates will have to raise. It's not if, it's when. Interest rates will have to raise. So as soon as that happens, affordability disappears, people have to live elsewhere. And because there's so much telecommuting, there's so much opportunity in those markets where there's houses still available for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. They're dumping money there, knowing that in 2 years, that $30,000 house will do what Maryvale did from 2010 to 2016.
Bro, in 2006, even in 2015, I had opportunities to buy in Maryville, and I was like, too expensive. This is getting out of control. And now I look, and those have more than doubled. Like Maryville blew the F up. It's crazy. So what do you think is a good market? Is it in Ohio? Is it one of these markets where
it's anywhere you can still get affordable housing? Lumber's up. New housing starts are slowing down because builders can't create the inventory that is needed out there. So people migrate. And the migration patterns are showing us exactly what's happening. They're moving into smaller submarkets where they can afford to buy a home.
You know, I watched this interview with the former CEO of Zillow, and I talked about it on my show on Wednesday. But in the 70s, they built 26 million houses. In the 80s, they built 26 million houses. In the 90s, they built 26 million houses. 2000 to 2010, 26 million houses in that decade. From 2010 to 2020, 6 million houses built. 6 million. This is a supply issue. We have 24 million people more from 2010 to 2020. And oh, by the way, let's sprinkle on top of all that a pandemic that shuts down construction for a year. You know what I mean?
And makes everybody want to be in their homes more.
Yeah.
And showed industry that you can work from home.
That's the big thing. That's what I wanted to touch on, Jamil, is the fact that things got more virtual. We were almost forced to it because you and I have had this conversation, Jamil, and then we'll open this up and really get into your day and Katie and some of these questions, because I want you to answer these questions because I think they're really good. That MJ Wade has a great question there too. But now that, you know, things are more virtual, is that the economy, Jamil? That, you know what I mean? Because in the smaller area or the areas that are less expensive or the prices are lower, it's because the economics, there's just not big corporations there or government jobs there to get people enough income to be able to pay rent or pay a mortgage. So the prices stay low. Now, maybe for the first time in U.S. history, it's kind of like, you know, spreading back out. You know, the Industrial Revolution brought us all in. Maybe the pandemic's kind of spreading us all out a little bit more. It's interesting to watch. But Katie, MJ Wade, right here. Great question.
I'd say probably 1 out of 3 deals that I get, I'd probably turn to creative now. And I just started doing this. I don't know. When do you think the first deal I sold you that was creative? Maybe like 7 months ago?
Yeah, 8 months ago. Yeah.
Somewhere around there. And I mean, I've done, like I said, probably 20 creative deals with Pace since then. And every creative deal, no, I don't assign, but every one that I get that I don't keep myself goes to Pace. Just being honest. But yeah, I mean, the only thing about creative deals is if somebody wants to sell, obviously I go for the wholesale first. I don't go straight to creative financing. I talk numbers with them and I try and get, you know, the house for the lowest I can. But not every house needs work. Some of these houses are perfect and people don't want to update them, or they think they're perfect and they think they don't need updating even though they're still in the 70s. But some people are just stuck in the 70s and think that their houses don't need work.
Yeah, there is one that you just sold me on Valentine about 2 months ago.
Yep. Oh, I forgot about that deal.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. That's a seller carry. Tenants are not paying for 7 months. And we took over non-paying tenants during a pandemic. And I am so happy to do that, guys. We've already got the tenants out. The house is going to turn into an Airbnb. So if you guys ever run into these situations, call Katie. She'll assign them to Katie. Katie will assign them to me.
I think also when you get a change in ownership of people and you sell the deal to somebody and there's tenants that aren't paying, they get scared. They're like, it's not the same person. I don't know who they're going to bring my way or who's going to show up at my door. So people, they tend to listen to somebody else more than the person that they haven't been paying for 7 months, because clearly they don't care. If they've been letting them go 7 months without paying, then they're a bad owner.
Katie, the first creative finance deal you and I did together, do you remember it?
That was a mobile home, and I remember we got that for 0%, and the way you got it is you just added on to the purchase price. They wanted originally like 6%.
That was
crazy.
78th place in Mesa, 0% seller finance. And what I did is her $10,000 down payment, if you remember, we spaced her $10,000 down payment over the course of a year. So her cash flow paid for her own down payment.
And I got a free set of golf clubs, brand new.
Oh, did you? And we took over tenants. Originally, when we first took the house over, we originally took over tenants, and we ended up getting those people out. But the craziest thing is now I'm like listening to Jamil, and I'm like, damn, I almost want to like double down in like a Gary, Indiana, or somewhere.
My money's on North Carolina.
Really? You think in North Carolina?
Yes.
Katie, you know what we should do is we should pull a list in North Carolina, have you start cranking that. Let's go buy a bunch of seller carries and then start a property management company out there.
I'm in. Let's do it.
And listen, anybody that's wholesaling in North Carolina, lock it up for whatever price. I mean, for real.
North Carolina is crushing. And it's coastal. It's crazy.
Yeah. I have been giving this advice to anybody in the TTP family that's in North Carolina. If you are there, I don't care if it's 90% of Zillow, lock it up. Lock it up, and put it out there. People are going bananas there, and you will be able to sell that. Now, Katie.
Sounds like I know where I'm going.
Katie, yeah, well, here you go, guys. You guys better start calling now, because if Katie goes there, she's going to beat you like a drum. She is. But Katie, talk to me about the transition, because I think that's what everybody's kind of sitting on the edge of their seats. They're like, okay, I make calls, and people tell me, no, they don't want to sell, or no, they don't want to do they don't want the price, the wholesale price. They want to do something else. I'm going to break this up in a couple parts. How do you make the transition from I'm calling about the property wholesale to creative, or do you just call and see if they would consider an offer either way?
So the first thing I do is I would just always ask somebody if they're interested in selling. If we start talking, and I don't just call, I text too, and I get a lot of deals from texting through batch leads. Like I get a lot of good things from there. Yeah. So and I know texting is going to start going away, so still sticking to my TTP. But like when I call people, the first thing I say is, are you interested in selling your property? If they say yes, I try and get a number out of them. And if I just instantly know that the number's too high and I know the condition of the property is good, I'll say, well, have you thought about selling it on terms? And most of the time they're like, well, what's that? Like, I've never heard of that. And they're like, is that a land contract? A lot of people, old people and Midwest people know what land contracts are. So essentially I just say, well, it'd be me, giving you a higher purchase price than maybe you want or than you're asking for. And we'd put together terms that work for the both of us. I'll give you a down payment, and a monthly payment. So you're not going to have to rent the property out anymore. You won't have to deal with taxes. You won't have to deal with insurance. It's literally just sitting at home, and, I'll have a servicing account. Wire you the check every month. You literally have to do nothing. And on top of it, I'll go and remodel your place. So things need done to it, you're going to have a brand new property essentially. So a lot of people are scared that, you're going to buy it, and then what if you don't pay them? Or I just always give them the assurance that they've got a down payment, as well as the fact that their house is going to be completely updated, and the market's never going to stop going up. So, I don't know. I think just giving them the reassurance that you're going to help them out and they don't have to do anything with the property really helps you to get a creative deal. And if it's not the option to wholesale it, why not try to do creative financing?
And then wholesale it.
Yeah, exactly. And some of them like to pace, yes. Oh,
No, I
wait.
mean, I want you to keep a lot of them too. I just want for the audience, like Katie, I want nothing more than you to own 100 properties. I'm just saying for the audience, a lot of people forget, like you get all these people ask, how are you making money on creative deals if you're paying full price? We don't care about the price. We care about the ability to cash flow, right? And if you have a house that's making $5,000 a month, do I care that I paid full retail for it? The answer is no, I don't. Now, the average deal that we buy, we are buying at 87 cents on the dollar on our seller carries. It's just that sometimes you hear our stories and those are the only ones that really ring true in people's brain of like, oh, they're paying over retail. We tell these stories just to prove a point, is that you can pay over retail and still get the deal done if the terms, the interest rate, the down payment, those types of things are structured properly. And, Katie's been doing that over a year, so it makes sense. She will wholesale 70% of them, keep the other 30%. And then at some point it will flip flop. She'll keep 70% of them and wholesale 30% of them. And at some point she'll go, I'm not going to wholesale these anymore.
Like
right?
that condo I bought in Pace East in Mesa.
Yes.
That was from just a different seller, and he told me what he wanted. It wasn't enough for a flip, but we put probably like 10 to 15K of money into this house. Like redid every bathroom, all new floors, all new paint, kitchen, and then we rented it out. But that's because we're making like $700 a month off of it, so it just made sense. And the seller, we didn't pay full price. Like the condo's worth over 200K now, and we paid like 130.
And I said that's bullcrap that you did not assign. The one deal you didn't assign to me is the one that has my name on it.
I know. It's messed up. All right.
That's good. It was a good deal.
It
looked cleaned up. It looked awesome. I don't remember. Are you renting that one, or what are you doing with that one?
Yeah, that's a rental. I think the property that we have in Glendale, we want to turn to an Airbnb. I've been talking to Noah about it. So
I'll get you one on Katie Street, Pace. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'll sell you the one that I get on Katie Street.
All right, good.
Walk us through your day, Katie.
So essentially, I like to do it differently than some people. Some people like to get a list of 15,000 people and they work that for the whole month. I personally like to go and physically drive and click my own different properties every day. So I'll wake up, spend 20 minutes building a list. I can build a list of, 1,000 people easily. I'll make sure I contact all of those people in one day. And typically, like my success rates, I've been seeing, almost a deal a day by just booking the houses.
Real quick, just to slow you down, where are you getting these lists that you are pulling, the 20 minutes that you pull 1,000 people?
I do that from Deal Machine.
So this is all driving for dollars.
Don't kill me. Yeah. All driving for dollars. So just virtually, I don't even leave my house. Like I said, those 12 deals I did last week were all just virtually.
And so then you get you get a certain list that you're going to call that day.
Yeah, that's the way I do it.
And you're sending out texts to those same people and calling those same people?
So I call them first. And then if I get, contact with them, I take them out of the list on Mojo. Obviously, so I'm not annoying them. They're like, you just contacted me this morning. Why are you calling me again? Or why are you texting me? And then I'll send the text to all the people that don't answer. And, a lot of the people will say, yeah, go screw yourself. But there's a lot of people that'll respond and say, what's your offer? And most of the deals I make are on the ones that just say, well, what's your offer? Or what are you going to offer me?
Yep.
A lot of them start that way.
And okay, so that's what's your offer when you're literally talking to them on the phone? When it's a text and you get what's your offer, what's your process there?
It's a little different because obviously you have time. You can look up the property. I'll usually just kind of run some rough comps. Usually I'll text Cody if I'm unsure. Like the other day I got a land deal and it was like 1.25 acres in Apache Junction. And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to offer. No, she told me what she wanted, but I was like, I don't know if that's too high. And Cody's like, yeah, lock it up. That's a great deal. So I locked it up and I literally made the deal in 10 minutes. So like if I had time to obviously text Cody and say, is this a good deal? What should I offer? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, lock it up. So I responded. And most of the time I always pick up the phone and still call them, even if I'm texting them. You'll get a lot of people that aren't the real person, or they're just messing with you, or I like to verify that it's actually the person. So I'm not sitting there. Like, people will literally text you for days and not be the seller.
Right. What'd you do with that land deal? Have you sold it yet?
Haven't sold it yet. Nope. We were trying to get some more information. The seller's not even too sure where the water's located and stuff. So a lot of the buyers want to know all that information. And
well, that's an information charge, right, Jamil? I mean, that should drop at least 10 or 15,000. Now, okay, so you're calling, you're texting, you're calling first, then you text, and that's pretty much your morning?
Yep, call and text, and I'm not hand dialing anymore, obviously. So making 1,000 calls, I mean, I can do that super fast, especially on the 999 dialer. Got it. Awesome. And then what, the afternoon's appointments, virtual appointments, regular appointments? What does that look like? What's your afternoon look like? I haven't gone. I'll say I do have an appointment here tomorrow, so I'm still doing deals here. But most of my deals I've been getting, I can either just make virtually by just talking over the phone, or I'll send Pace on the deals, and Pace, of course, locks them up. But those are the ones that he's buying and stuff. So anything in Arizona, I usually send somebody from Pace's team to go check it out if they want to talk in person, and that's how I've been doing it right now. So I haven't been going on many appointments, which it's kind of cool.
You know what's kind of cool is that the timing of that last deal. Jamil got to watch it. It was sick. We were running a mastermind. Jamil was my main headlining speaker for the morning, and we had our television show filming it because they were like, Jamil's speaking, we got to put that on national TV. That's the shit. So Anna had ran a contest in the mastermind the day before where we were giving away a prize on house number 1 and house number 2 that we had visited. So Anna gets up in front of the room. She gives away prize number 1 on the first house they visited. And then she gives away prize 2 on the second house they visited. So she's about to sit down. She feels like she's done with her job. And I said, hey, Anna, there's actually a third winner. And I hand her a picture of me standing in front of the house doing this. And she goes, I go, it's your house. You just won the house. And so because of you, Katie, Anna has a home that she's going to be moving into on July 15th. And we as a community gave that house to Anna because she's been such a valuable part of everybody. She's taken TTP students out in the field. She's taken Astro students out in the field. Anna has been a big part of everybody's life. And thanks to you, we found that house.
Yeah, that was awesome. I'm super grateful to even be a part of that. Anna deserves it.
When you get back home from whatever, Nebraska, Ohio.
Nowhere, Nebraska, yes. I think Ohio's worse than Nebraska. Don't give me that.
When you get back, we'll do a housewarming party at Anna's house. When are you guys coming back home?
We'll be back like first week of July.
Perfect, because she moves in July 15th.
I love it. We'll be back before July 15th.
Yeah, it's very cool. What's cool is that you're at a stage in the game where you're starting to impact more people's lives than your own and more people's lives than your sellers, right? That's when you know. Somebody asked me today, Pace, how will you know that you've made enough money? And I go, interesting. I don't really measure my success based on how much money I make. I go, do I feel like I've helped enough people? The answer is no. Then I'm not going to stop working. And I get that mostly from Brent Daniels and Jamil. It's like, that's the freak. Look at Brent. Every single minute he has, every single spare minute he has is like, how do I amplify the value or my ability to articulate my value to the audience so they can be helped? Like, look what Brent was able to do for you, Katie. And then the domino effect of look at the butterfly effect of Brent Daniels. Okay. And TTP. You come into his program, you learn how to talk to people, you start doing deals, and now Pace owned like 15 properties because of it. We've made hundreds of thousands of dollars together on fix and flips, all because Brent Daniels was the match that first was struck.
Literally. And I think about it every day. Like, I am so grateful. I made a post the other day that I thought I'd be selling cars for the rest of my life. And then here I did 12 deals in 1 week. Like, that was amazing for me. And I think that was probably the coolest thing I've ever done. Not just because not even because of the money, just because I want people to know that it is possible and you don't have, anybody can do it. I know that if you're motivated and you don't want to work a 9 to 5 and you sit and make calls and you don't give up, you will make your first deal. And if you make your first deal, you're going to make more deals. Like getting your first deal, and if you stop, I mean, I don't think anybody's ever done that after their first deal.
No. And here's the other thing is like, I watch both Brent and I watch Jamil, right? Their domino effect, like Jamil's domino effect in my life is indescribable. The only way to describe it is to tell you that it's not describable. Okay. His impact on me, and same thing with Brent. So here's the cool thing. Okay. Where you're at in your business is that Brent creates this domino effect that gives you an opportunity to take your energy, take your desire, couple it with what you've learned and the leadership that was shown to you. And now you get to go out. And this is where you know Brent has been successful. Not when he does deals, not when Katie does deals, not when Pace buys deals from Katie. When do we know that Brent has become successful? Is when Katie helps somebody else do their first deal. That's what Brent and Jamil are. That's their legacy right there.
It's squatting up. I mean,
and it feels so good. It does.
It is. I mean, it's squatting up. It's the whole philosophy of the show. It's the whole philosophy that you and Pace and Jamil had toured the whole country on the road tour to promote. I mean, it's a big change, and the change is we are small. That we are a small group, all right, and we can help each other out. We can work together. We all have this crazy, turned around brain that doesn't want to be, locked down, right? I mean, the key to happiness is freedom, and the key to freedom is courage, right? I mean, that's what it is. And you have the courage to go and be different, the courage to go and be an entrepreneur, the courage to not have a huge budget and to hand dial strangers and ask them if they would consider an offer, and do that 300 times a day. I mean, that's inspiration. I mean, that is incredible. That is something that I think that we've all had those moments where we've had to really dig deep and find that courage. And once you have it, man, it is easy to find other people that have that and to connect with them and to squad up with them. And we're all here. We're all here. So. And
I couldn't have done it. No way in this world would I've done what I've done today without meeting you though, Brent. I will say that, like, you lit the spark and you made me just go like a firecracker from there. And I knew I couldn't give up after you showed us what you'd done. Like going to your office was just the coolest thing. Like I was like, oh my God, imagine having an office like this one day, from selling houses, or not just selling houses, but back then that's what I thought, like this is awesome. This is the life. And, I just went out there and did it because I saw what you did, and you motivated me for sure and showed me what I was capable of doing. So it's awesome.
Listen, when I met Brent,
ring that bell, bro. Ring that bell.
Yeah, ring the bell, bro.
I'll ring the... But listen, Katie, now you have the responsibility to go out and share. So,
I want to help everybody I can. I want everybody to get their first deal, because I know once they do, they won't stop. And once you get your first deal, you really just stop asking people. Like, you don't lose courage. I see people post in the Facebook groups all the time, like, should I move on from this deal? And sometimes I'll be harsh about it, but I'm like, yeah, move on. You're wasting your time, and just go out there and talk to as many people as you can, because sitting around and waiting for that one deal it's not what you should do. Just talk to as many people as you can a day. And if you have 5 people you're texting back and forth, then, one of the 5 will probably be a deal if you're committed and you stay committed to them.
Katie, I'm brand new. I'm watching you on the screen right now, and I'm thinking, first off, I'm not crazy enough to live in Nebraska. Okay?
I don't think anybody is. That's why I'm coming back after 3 months.
Okay. All right. So I was going to assume, as a new person watching you, that you've got a screw loose, and that's why you're so successful. But let's remove that. Are there times where you're nervous, or you have anxiety? You wake up and you just don't feel like doing it, or do you that doesn't exist inside of you, and you're just a special human being?
No, it definitely exists. Like at first, every day, of course, I think, like, is this going to work? Am I going to make a deal? Am I wasting my time? Like, is my family going to make fun of me for quitting my job? Like, my family thought I was crazy. Everybody works a 9 to 5. That's just what they do. They're like, you quit your job to do what? And then after I've made my first deal, I was like, Jack, quit it. Quit your job. We're doing this. It works. It's real. I mean, I don't know. It's awesome. I think I totally forgot what your question you asked, but
okay. Is there a process though that you walk through, or do you just take a couple of deep breaths? You jump on the phone, you get the momentum.
Don't even think about it. Act like you're calling your mom. Like, hey, mom, you want to sell your house? Like, nobody's going to make fun of you. These people have talked to so many people, and so many other people have already asked them if they want to sell their house, that nobody is going to make fun of you. And if they do, guess what? All they have is a fake phone number. If you're calling off a different number, it doesn't matter. Just, I mean, like, come on. I don't think anybody should be scared to make a call. And if you are, just think about you're calling your mom, and don't be scared.
You're just
like,
a
you have
voice in
nothing to
space.
lose by making a phone call. Nothing to lose.
What are they going to do? Track your number, like with some, CIA stuff.
I have people tell me all the time that they've sent my number to the FBI. I'm like, oh, great. If I'm that cool for the FBI to show up at my door, I've really made it.
Yeah, they're not tracking you.
No.
Crazy.
Don't be afraid. That's what I have to say for sure.
What do you do, Katie, are you reading books? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you listening to Audible? Are you watching? What do you do to like just keep positivity coming into your brain? Or is it just there?
It's just there. I mean, I never really lose hope that I've done. All I know is that if you make the calls and you put in the work, that you're going to be successful and you're going to have the deals. I'm not a big book reader. I'm not any of that really. I'll be honest. I know that if you do the work and you try, you're going to make a deal. So I stay motivated in my head. And honestly, yeah, sometimes I get down on myself because I haven't made a deal in a month. And that's a lot. Like, that's like, oh my gosh, I have nothing guaranteed or whatever. Obviously we have cash flow and stuff, but I'm sure everybody's going to get down on themselves at some point, but you have to just keep making the calls and you can't give up, or you got to keep texting or whatever it is that you do. Just don't get down on yourself, because if whatever market you're in, I look at Arizona and I'm like, there's so many houses that by the time you cycle back around, somebody's going to be ready to sell.
So what about Jack? I think that's a missing element to this, because Jack is one of these guys I just love being around.
Jack had to go settle a dispute on the golf course today. He tied in golf yesterday. So
my kind of guy right there. I freaking love it. So how important is having a good partner, even somebody just have your back, or instead of making you feel like you were stupid, just saying, hey, babe, it's going to be amazing. Yeah. Make a joke, completely take your mindset away from whatever is going on. How important is Jack and your guys' success tied together?
At first, I'd say Brent and Jack were probably the only people that believed in the fact that this would work. Like, my family, my mom, everybody thought I was absolutely insane. Like, they were all like, you quit your job. That's so dumb, whatever. And yeah, it might have been dumb at the beginning, but there's no way I would have made the deals I made by not quitting my job. And it was a risk to take, but I knew that I wasn't going to give up, and I knew I'd keep making calls. And if I didn't have Jack, I probably would have given up, honestly. Like, he's like, no, you'll make a deal. And at this point, Jack doesn't make calls anymore, because just the success rates that I have, it doesn't make sense. So he's going to go out and start something new now and do something else. So we have two different businesses, and I'm just going to run this because it's going good the way it is. And it definitely, it's good to have somebody that supports you, that's for sure. And you need it if you're going to be in this business, or somebody that believes in you.
Squad up. Even if you don't have a Jack, go find a homie, go find somebody to go run around with. I mean, we invite people into our world all the time. I'm going to tell everybody the only thing different, because look, Katie is smart. She has a great memory, but she did go to Nebraska as a way to go explore the world. Okay. So it's not like, Katie is like going to run for president next week. Okay. She's going to crush real estate. That's what she's going to focus on. The thing about Katie is she's probably the biggest discerning difference between Katie and anybody else is, what would you say that is, Katie? I know what it is, but I want to see what your thought is.
Follow up.
Action. I think it's action taking. I think it's literally like you just love to be in the action, you just love to just have maybe do you get bored easy? Do you just are like, dude, I don't want to sit here for 4 minutes not doing something and creating chaos? Is that what it is?
I mean, I think I just look at my time in my day and I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I could be sitting here making money. I can make 20 calls and I can make a deal. I can make a 30K deal. You never know. Like, I'm trying to get to the 100K club on one deal still. So
everybody should clip that out. For real. Everybody should clip that out. I'm just sitting here and I can make 20, 30K. I want to make 100K while you're sitting there. That is the difference. That is what Katie brings. She will pick up the phone and she will do it.
Yeah.
This is not anything. We've been saying the same thing about lead generation for forever and ever. If you have quality conversations with distressed property owners, whether they're calling you from marketing, whether you're getting referrals and building up a huge network, or you're going out and being proactive and calling them, that is lead generation. It's just having a quality conversation. If you're just sitting around, you could literally, you have all the tools. We've talked about it. We've talked about dialers. We've talked about hand dialing. We've talked about how to get accurate phone numbers, a batch skip tracing. We talked about how to just drive for ugly houses. It's right there. It is right there. You see how high my voice is going, Jamil? It's right there. It's right there.
So,
it's right there.
It literally is, though. And if you don't have the money to get started, you don't have to do it the standard way.
Hey, Katie,
Go on dial.
when you're virtually driving for dollars, you're just going up and down streets looking for houses that look like crap?
And not even that. I mean, you can categorize out like absentee owners or even owner occupieds. Like, I just make sure it's people that haven't sold their house or bought the house in like the past 3 years or 5 years, because nobody that just bought the house is. I don't go after that stuff. I know some people do, like foreclosure lists.
Why not just pull that list from like a list provider? Why do it through the app?
I don't know. I feel like I like to know what area I'm in, and I can categorize like what kind of person I'm talking to. I know that day that like everybody I'm talking to is an absentee owner, or I know what area they're in, and I don't know. I think it's just something that started to work for me, and once it started to work, I didn't change it up. So like, I think I like knowing what area I'm in, who I'm talking to, and I don't know. I pick a different list every day, a different category, and it works for me, and that's what I've been doing.
You said your superpower is lead follow-up. How long did it take for you to get a contact management? What is CMS? No. What I don't
CRM.
know. CRM. There we go. What is it?
After my first deal, I got a CRM, and I mean, without one, it would be tough. For a lot of people that I have hot leads, I can keep it in my head, and I typically like to do that, but I still keep record of it and things. And I've had people that say, hey, call me in a year, and I've called them in a year and I've made a deal. So that's really what I use that for, and to keep track of year out deals or whatever. And people that tell you to call them in a year, save it. Don't take them. Don't joke and be like, oh, they're not serious. Those people they're probably older people and know, hey, that's when I want to sell my house, or they want to sell at that time for a reason.
Do you have any automation built into your CRM, or are you just picking up the phone and calling them and setting tasks?
Nope, no automation. Just days that I want to start working, I get on the CRM, I make calls, and I send out the text, and that's the way I do it.
Yeah, that's when you have to have the Nike swoosh logo somewhere where you're doing your follow-up, because it's literally, people ask, what is the secret to lead follow-up? What is the secret? Just do it.
Literally. Who cares? And I mean, I'll call people. This is probably my favorite follow-up I have to show you people. And this is a deal. And the reason I know it's a deal, hopefully he's not watching, but I'll text this. I have 3 different phones, obviously. Jack's got one phone. We've got like another business phone, and I'll use it to contact people. If people start ignoring me, I'll text them off a different deal or a different phone if I know they want to sell. I annoyed this guy so bad. Whoa, what the heck? You guys see that?
Yeah.
What in the world? Is there like a green screen on here or something?
Yeah.
There is. My phone turned to a green screen.
Wow.
Well, what the heck? Hang on.
Yeah, you have to go to your little settings box.
Okay, here we go. That was crazy. I texted this guy so many times. How do I get this? That he finally responded, and he was like, "Hey," or he called me and he's like, "Hey, you can stop texting me. I'm selling you the house. I'm just trying to clean it up." He's like, "I've ignored everybody else." And he texted back on Jack's phone. He said, "I've already sold the property to some girl." And I was like,
Hell
"Oh my
yeah.
God, I haven't even bought it yet, but obviously it's going to be a deal." So I literally text the guy like 10 times to the point where he just called me. He's like, all right, I'll sell to you.
Every day? What's your cadence?
No, I mean, that was probably like every 2 days. But yeah, I mean, you got to just stay on top of them.
That's the greatest response to every time somebody asks, what's your follow-up look like? That is the only correct response, is you do it until they sell or until they die.
Yeah, or until they tell you just, no, I'm done with you. I don't want to sell ever.
Yeah, but even then, you're still texting them. If you know they have pain, it sounds like you're just grabbing another phone and saying, "Hi, this is not Katie. This is Kathleen, and I'm looking to buy a house."
Yep.
My gosh, so freaking good. So, Katie,
it can be more than one person. Just saying.
Right, 100%. So, with Jack is no longer helping out with the business, or is he like helping out with Dispo or doing anything in those regards? What's he working on?
No, Jack's going to go start just his own side business. Not sure, he's running some ideas, just kind of how we were with this. Something, I don't know, labor related, but he gets.
I think he should hustle people on the golf course, like just sandbag and bet people, you know?
It would be bad. He already golfs a lot. So probably becoming a professional golf. I'm just kidding. But no, it just, I mean, him calling, like I said, I'm a control freak with the leads. So it kind of got to the point where I was like, I got it. Like, I know I have it and I know I can handle it. And I'm sure at one point I'll have to hire someone to, do contracts and dispos, things like that. But
okay, so here's my question. What is the next step in your business? Because I look at you, Katie, and I'm like, I'm very amazed by you. I'm super impressed by you. But as your friend, I look at you and I'm like, Katie, I want to see you and Jack go on a 2-month, 3-month vacation to Ohio or wherever it is.
Oh my God.
Oh,
come on, give me somewhere better than that.
Okay, North
Cincinnati.
Dakota. North Dakota.
So let's say you guys go on 3-week vacation or a 3-month vacation, or, heaven forbid, in 5 years, let's say you guys start deciding, hey, let's have babies, and you got to take a couple months off. What's the game plan if you're not able to be on the phone? Are you going to start hiring somebody or get a virtual assistant, or what are you thinking?
No, I did virtual assistants for a little bit. I didn't have success with the people I was using. So when we get back to Arizona, my plan is to sign up for some more VAs. And I think that'll be my next step, is to hire a VA and kind of slow down on the calling myself and take care of everything else from there. And, have people just send me, hey, this person might want to sell, and then I'll take care of it from there. But I definitely think hiring a VA and then somebody to do dispositions and things like that.
Jamel's in like 85 states now, right?
85?
Yeah, he's out of all 50 states, I think he's in 85 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Where are you not, Jamel? Are you guys in Alaska yet? Mm-hmm. He's got a handful of states.
I got a student in Anchorage though. That's
Me
fun.
too. Bro, we've actually got students that have done a couple of deals together. I wish I had more time talking. I talk to Jamil a lot, but I don't talk to Jamil enough. And I don't talk to Brent enough. But it's crazy when I hear these success stories. Like, I squatted up. I came into the Wholesale Hotline. I told everybody I was a sub 2 student, and one of the TTP students reached out. We started doing deals together. I'm like, where do you guys live? Oh, we both raise grizzly bears in Alaska. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's so freaking cool. In fact, I have a student that moved from Anchorage down to Florida because they had done so many deals with an Astro student who lived in Florida. They were like, we want to be closer together. Like, that's what's so freaking cool about this community. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's awesome.
Guys, I think this is the realest interview conversation we've ever had. Like, for real. Like, There's no, she's not standing up and pounding her chest. She's just telling the facts. You know what I mean?
I'll shoot it straight.
Yeah, she does.
Okay,
right?
tell us the truth. Is that you're in Nebraska? So is that a brand new top of the line cabinet set that you just bought?
Let's see. That's like the whole house, all wood, wooden doors, everything.
No.
All right, but you have to see the view.
Look at the trim.
makes it so much
That's cute as hell. That's like real wood trim.
Yes, but look at the view.
Oh
come on.
my gosh.
Come on, Pace.
So you can't complain about that.
I'm freaking moving to Nebraska, dude. That's insane.
It's awesome.
Is that a
don't hate
boathouse?
that
Is that a boathouse?
That's a little like lake boathouse down there with a bunch of skis and wakeboards and tubes and
Making $100 grand in a month next month. She's making $100 grand. The mayor of
I made every deal from that patio. So every deal last week was just made from that.
I love it.
It can be done anywhere.
You don't need a fancy office to do it?
No, not at all. A computer.
Do you have a website?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, yeah. How about a logo?
I do. You ready?
Business cards?
Huber Home Investments.
Here we go.
There it is. Boom.
So yeah.
Katie, you've been a great guest. Because Brent and you struck the match, whenever that was 2 years ago. I'm going to let Brent wrap it up, but I just want to say I appreciate the relationship we have. You're amazing. At some point, you won't sell me deals anymore, but we're still going to be friends.
Of course.
And I appreciate you tremendously. You're amazing.
Thank you guys for having me. It was awesome.
Bravo.
24 months, 80 deals, 12 deals in a week. I mean, just warming up, Katie. You are just warming up. So, I mean, absolutely incredibly inspiring. You understand what is real in this business, and that is taking money home to yourself and investing for the long term. It's not about the flash. It's not about, having big offices and big cars and big everything. It's about keeping it and investing in the future. And that's what really is that's what lasts. And I think that you've come on here and you've given people an honest look at what that looks like. And just because you're sitting there in Nebraska doing deals here in Arizona, you're doing it from your porch and you're the one doing it 100%. Guys, you can do this. Anybody on here, listen, you can do this. Just
seriously,
use this as inspiration. Katie is an inspiration. 24 months ago, she had not done a deal. Now she's off and running. And it's just, I love it. And I'm so happy for you. I am unbelievably happy. Anyway. I love you. I think you're incredible.
You guys are amazing. And I would never be where I am today without meeting any of you. And seriously, I say it from the bottom of my heart and truly mean that you guys changed my life.
Well, you did all the hard work. Anyway, guys, Wholesale Hotline number 67 with Katie Fisher. If you do not watch this again and again and again and clip out the little parts where she's really describing how she's building this business, that would be a big mistake. So make sure that you go back and watch this again, listen to it on the podcast. You can get that on iTunes. You can get that on Spotify, Wholesale Hotline. Guys, do you know that we have like 500 reviews? Something like that. It's incredible. We're good. It's getting there. So,
you guys are changing people's lives. Why would they not listen to you?
400 of those are Katie.
Yeah. So thank you, Pace, Jamil. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. Happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. And as always, go out there and talk to people. Love you guys.
Love you guys. See you next week.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.